Welcome to the Three-Man Weave Show, hosted by SportsbookReview.com. It's Wednesday, and we got a full slate of hoops to talk about. Before we do, please, as always, hit that like button on the YouTube video you are watching. Subscribe to the channel. That is SBR Sports Picks. Also, SBRpicks.com/NCAAB is a fantastic website for more college basketball content from the Sportsbook Review team. Jim and Matt, welcome to this lovely Wednesday. Let's start with Matt for some takeaways from yesterday. Matthew, what did you see?
Kind of going off the beaten path. I got to highlight a game last night that I don't think anyone watched. I know we didn't talk about it yesterday, and it was almost like tucked in between two scores on my Gamecast feed. Memphis, South Florida, the Tigers are quietly on fire right now. They are 9-1. Yes, 9-1 last 10 games against the spread. We saw this team show out really strong at the beginning of the year, and they sort of went into hiding, like hibernation for late December, the early part of the American. They were struggling, had some late game meltdowns. I think we soured quickly on this team, but Penny has gotten this thing back in order, Jim. The talent's there. We believed in it all season. Now it's starting to come to fruition a little bit. They have Houston this Sunday. I'm not sure if I'm going to back them blindly going forward, but definitely a team that is worth an upgrade in any sort of power ranking or power rating handicapping number-based system.
Maybe. I'm a little skeptical. There's no Yetna, no Dur for USF yesterday. I think there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors to it. The AAC is not very good, so I'm not gonna go crazy with Memphis right now. We'll see. The ceiling is there. My takeaway, and Wonka Dog already called it out. I loved the Horizon yesterday. How could you not?
So good. So good.
Yes. The best 4 quarterfinals you could possibly imagine. We had a triple overtime game. We had a 24-point comeback in 6 minutes. So the favorite loss, we had a tip in at the buzzer, and then we had another overtime game that only ended 4 points on the margin. What a boring game. Oh, it was great. It was vintage March. Great to see mid-major basketball taking over the airwaves. That's all I got, Ky. I'm just in a little carryover basketball nirvana right now.
Yeah, Milwaukee came back, Jim, from literally a 0% winning percentage.
0.0.
0% probability. That's incredible. I mean, clearly it wasn't zero. They actually did it against the best team in the league. Wild stuff.
Insane.
March is back. Cinderella's. Quickly, credit to Illinois. They seem to be in 1-seed territory now with that smashing of Michigan. And guys, if Illinois can smash Michigan and now be 3-0 ATS without Io, well, that doesn't mean he's the player of the year, does it?
Oh, Lucas Garza, player of the year. Great campaign.
I think you keep Io off the court at this point. I don't think you want him on the floor. I think he's clearly a problem in the locker room, addition by subtraction.
Your daily reminder injuries don't matter. They've never mattered.
I mean, Hey, spot the lie on 3-0 ATS in a win over the best team in the country. Third best team in the country. All right, enough of that. Rundown. Here we go. Creighton at Villanova. Here we go. Starting off in the Big East. Creighton won by 16 in the first game. They were 12 from 26 from 3. Also 20 for 28 inside the arc. A crazy 1.34 points per possession against Nova in the first game. Jim, Villanova's coming off a bizarre loss to Butler. They're not above these stinkers they've had this year. Their resume not really as Nova as it is in the past. What do you think about this game?
I still like Nova here. I would certainly lean that way. There's some inclination in me that's just like maybe Nova's not that good. They don't have any sort of interior rim protection, hence the 20 for 28 number you mentioned inside the arc for Creighton. They got the athleticism in the front court just isn't there. But this is a big spot for them. Revenge. It's a low spread. Creighton also coming off a loss, which makes me nervous. It's not like they're riding too high or anything, but it just feels like a Villanova spot for me. I have no edge numerically, Matthew. I made the spread right on, but it feels more like a Nova game to me.
I actually lean the other way, Jim. I made this 3. I'm inclined to go with the Blue Jays, even after they smoked Villanova in the first matchup. So I'm going against some revenge momentum there. I did not watch Creighton's 8-point loss at Xavier over the weekend, but surrendering 69% shooting inside the arc is a little bit concerning. But it's always sort of been the bugaboo of Creighton's DNA, right? Interior defense is something they've struggled to contain. They can defend on the perimeter, but if you can get inside and beat them up with physicality, that usually can be a way to exploit them. Nova, they have size, they have length, but that's not really how they score, right? So I do think it's just a good matchup, especially this year for Creighton. I can see the Blue Jays getting a sweep tonight, the season series in Philly.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of lean Nova, Matt. I think the spreads feels just a little bit low. First game, of course, said differently, but I think Nova punches back here. Creighton dead last in the league, 3-point attempt rate allowed. Nova number 1, 3-point attempt rate. that probably gives here when Nova's at home. And
yeah,
there is
Nova shot like I think 2 for 29 against Butler from deep. 2 for 29.
There's some shooting. There's some shooting luck regression on the defense of both teams. A correction, we'll call it. Creighton bad, Nova good. Moving on. UConn at Seton Hall, staying in the Big East. UConn is -1.5 at Seton Hall, and Seton Hall is very bubbly, especially if they fall to 13-11 overall. That's an eyesore of a record, Matthew. Probably in if they can get this game. I'm not 100% sure. I need to consult my bracket a little bit here. And Matt, Seton Hall did win this first game against UConn, but they're missing some guy named Jimmy Bouknight. I don't know much about him. What can you tell me about this game?
Mr. Jim Bookie Night? Yeah, something like that. Just some unknown character that isn't important at all. Ky, I've been a Hall supporter. It's been a Pirates life for me much of the year, although I think we're starting to see how important Bryce Aiken is to this offense. A lot of times it feels very much reliant on Mamu to go create a shot. The other supporting cast of characters, Miles Cale, Jalen Roden, awesome defensively, inconsistent on the offensive side of the rock. Aiken, I think, is going to be out tonight. Sounds like they're still working him back. They're probably trying to save him for Big East tournament and beyond. So that does concern me tonight here. But just in general, I think Hall's a team you bet now, rest of the year, you're going to win some money.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of like UConn in this one, Matt. I'm a little less sold on Hall. They've had some good stretches, some bad stretches. Definitely a Jekyll and Hyde kind of team, and I think Aiken is a big part of that. But UConn's just undervalued to me right now. Like this team is better than a pick'em game here. Basically, it's gotten up over 1.5. And if yesterday's Detroit game taught me anything, it's that line value certainly matters, folks. So I'm not going to lock it in officially, but I think UConn wins here. That would just be my lean here. Bouknight on the court. Cook did not play the last game either, so it's probably UConn or nothing for me.
In general, Matt, actually, UConn's a team I'm looking to sort of hitch my wagon to.
Yeah, fair. I'm looking to ride both. I feel like Hall's a team that no one's talking about. That just seems completely off the beaten path.
We talk about talented, game-changing guards in March, and that's Bouknight. He qualifies for that. So teams tend to make runs with those type of players, and they have one in James Bouknight. All right, moving on. Clemson at Syracuse. The Orange are favored by -2.5. Clemson's been on a roll, guys. Kind of a sneaky roll. 5 straight wins after a rough patch. Syracuse may be done for the tournament, Jim. There's a small chance they get there if they win this. Just not a whole lot of quality wins. And Clemson destroyed them in the first game.
Yep.
What do you think about this battle, Jim, between two Orange teams?
Yeah, I'm surprised Clemson destroyed them in the first one because I don't think this is a very good matchup for them. They're not a great shooting team. They do take a lot of threes, but they hit, I think, 10 of 23 from deep in the first one. Syracuse was only 5 of 20. And that's where Clemson's defense is vulnerable. From the perimeter, I think in the Carrier Dome, it's a little tougher for road teams to shoot there. It's just a strange background. But Buddy Boeheim's been super hot lately. Yeah. You get a couple shots from Gerard and Griffin, and I think Syracuse might exact a little bit of revenge. I saw it went up from 2 to 2.5, so people at least a little bit of a lean towards Syracuse. That would also be my lean, but I am loath to trust this Orange team, so no, definitely not an official play for me.
Yeah, Jim, you mentioned Clemson was 10 of 23 from long distance in the first game. You could argue there's some regression coming there. However, they get 11 offensive rebounds at a 48% rate and scored at a 61% clip inside the arc. That they can absolutely replicate. Just the size advantage they have up front against that thin zone. It just hasn't quite looked like the typical zones of years past. I actually think both teams scored a high clip. The number at 135, the total of 135, sounds pretty low. I think indicative of Clemson's snail pace, but they can score efficiently. And I think Syracuse, especially if they get down in this game, they'll ramp up the tempo. And Jim, you mentioned it. They have shooters all over the court. So I think a lot of points are in this one. I would lean over.
Keep an eye on Jesse Edwards for Syracuse. He played his highest minutes total of the season last game out against UNC. 6'11" guy, really affected Carolina inside the arc. The heel shot 46% inside the arc. I think that could be a difference maker today.
Hey, Kadary Richmond's a guy I like for Syracuse too, Jim. I think they had some guys who are starting to emerge late here. We'll see if they actually get in the tournament.
Syracuse had a lot of trouble scoring in game one. So I don't think they're going to score much in this game, Matt. I actually kind of I lean towards the under actually a little bit. Yeah, I lean towards Clemson in this game too. I think the offensive rebounding is repeatable. The shooting was a bit of an aberration. They're only 33% in ACC play, but yeah, I've been fading Syracuse a lot this year, so I'm not willing to back them. I'll lean Clemson. Moving on, Jim, here we go. Time to talk about our Tigers. It's Mizzou at Florida. Old Mizzou's been struggling, guys. There's no denying it. They've lost 4 of the last 5. Their resume, Jim, we've talked about internally. It's still pretty gorgeous. I mean, aside from the net, they're 6-4 versus Q1 competition. 0 bad losses. This team is in. Like, Jim, they could lose their last couple of games here and still make the tournament. Kind of wild to think about. Florida's a dangerous team. I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah, Mizzou, they for a while have been a team that is worse than their resume indicates. Right. Unfortunately, they're 4-0 versus Q1A, like the top cream of the crop competition. They're somehow 4-0. It makes no sense to me. They've definitely struggled in spots where it's a little more letdowny for them. This one, I kind of leaned their way. I was hoping it would get up to 5, and I think I was going to step in on the Tigers at that point, but it's down at 4. Yeah. So stay away from me here. The matchup's pretty solid. I think Tillman can battle Castleton inside. Mizzou has some perimeter defenders to throw at Appleby and Trey Mann. But, Florida's been playing fairly well lately. They got a win over the weekend. I would probably, just stay away from this one unless you have a real strong inclination, Matthew.
Yeah, Jim, I kind of want to piggyback your Memphis cool of my hype in the same way about Florida. I look at their recent results and I'm just like, So the Arkansas game was really not that close. I mean, a late run, the second half, I felt like Arkansas was a better team. The Georgia game was a home run spot. The Auburn game, there was no Sharif Cooper. And then Kentucky, they got down 15 early, and then it got close late, and they almost blew that game. I just think the Florida team's a little bit overvalued. I don't like what I'm seeing from this offense. There's no continuity, no rhythm. I think this is a game Mizzou should win and does win. If it hits 5, I'm going to take the Tigers. But I'm with Jim, though. 4 is a little bit too short for me to hop on.
You think they'll win and you won't take +4? That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm betting value, Jim. I made it 3. I need 2 points of variance there, babe. I do. I guess I could endorse a money line play at 4 maybe, but I don't know. No reason to do that. I'm worried about
Tillman against Castleton. Jim said it's going to be a good matchup for sure. I'm just worried that Tillman's going to get in foul trouble pretty quick here. That's my worry as a Mizzou fan who's seen a lot of Tillman basketball. And Florida has athletes to kind of combat the physicality, the athleticism of Mizzou. That's kind of their shtick. I don't know if they'll be too intimidated by that. So it is a total stay away from me. I'm going to root for my Tigers, of course, but nothing from a betting perspective on this one for me.
Someone mentioning Mizzou being inactive since Andrew Carr since 2/23. That's not a COVID thing, right? Did I completely miss that? They haven't been
the Texas A&M game got
that's right.
Canceled.
Got canceled.
Also, 2/23 is only like a week. Remember, February's got 28 days.
Oh, that's right. The old anti-leap year.
That's a good lesson, Jim, on calendars. All right, we're going to head to Chat Mob Questions, round 1 here. Jimmy Root is our chat czar. What do you got for us?
Well, I'm selfishly hogging the ball here. It's starting it off with the early tip, Leg Show Magazine, and a million others asking about St. Joe's and LaSalle neutral court game here in the first round of the A10 tournament. I'm taking St. Joe's as my best bet, guys. I'm locking it in. I've seen a lot of pushback, Joe Kidd in particular, about their 1-9 road record. Ryan Daly makes most of the season irrelevant for them. Daly is a complete game changer. He's the alpha of their offense. He moves everybody down a roll, which makes everything a little bit more natural. They were over leveraged on Jordan Hall and Taylor Funk before. Now with Daly there as the creator, the guy drawing the defensive attention, they've been lethal. 1-3 straight. I think St. Joe's is the play here today. St. Joe's -2, best bet. Either of you feel the same way?
I think it's the right side. They're on fire. It's because of Ryan Daly. Yes, he matters that much. He opens up a whole new everything for them on offense. Like they are so stagnant without him off the floor. They have no identity. With him on the floor, they're a dangerous team.
I like the over. I know there's a lot of points in this game. I think they don't, St. Joe doesn't defend that well. LaSalle can get some athletic guys that can get in the lane, kick out for open shooters. So I see a points barrage here, but no strong side lane for me.
Yeah, Matt, the only thing worries me there is the sleepy early tip. I mean, this is 11 a.m. Eastern time.
I'm hoping it affects the defense more. I'm hoping they're sleepy on defense and they just, do the old Matador Ole, come right by me defense.
All right, let's go to a couple from Zach Hossler, Maryland at Northwestern. Man, the Terps need. They're not as desperate as say Minnesota, but they've been playing well. They've been playing well lately. Ky, you got anything here?
They're in. They're definitely in the tournament. Their resume is great. I'm just shocked that we're in this situation. We talked about they have no star players. They're just a really good team. Spread feels a little low. I actually made it where it is right now, -4-ish, Jim, I think, is what I'm seeing. I lean towards the Terps because I'm just not excited to back Northwestern, really.
Yeah, Northwestern and back against the wall on the road spot, sure, but at home with a short spread, and no, I don't like that. Not a subscriber to that play.
All right, let's go to the OVC tournament, round one. SEMO at Morehead State. Oh, it's not at. This is all a neutral site in Evansville.
Yeah.
Morehead, the best defense in the league. SEMO been pretty feisty, though, lately, Matt. Anything for you here?
Yeah, I liked Southeast Missouri State at the opener, but I think it's down to 7 across the board now, so I won't endorse it. I think these larger dogs are going to play actually somewhat well in the OVC. I think we said stay away in the regular season. I think there'll be a little flip-flop of a dynamic teaser for my best bet later.
Okay, Kai. Let's the other A10 game. Ray Pye is asking about Fordham versus GW. Man, this is a stink fest. I don't have a lot to go here. GW has at least been a little more solid lately after their shutdown, so maybe something there.
Yeah, well, so number-wise, I was like, whoa, spread feels pretty high. I know it's Fordham, but I made it a lot lower, and then I remembered, Fordham hasn't played since February 13th. I think that's part of the issue here, and of course, they're not a very good basketball team. They don't have a true head coach anymore with Neubauer leaving, so I would stay away. I would lean Fordham in a pure number perspective, but I'm not confident in that side whatsoever.
Yeah, I read about the shutdown. It did not sound very good. They've been basically limited to jogging outside and Zoom practicing, and GW smoked them in the first during the regular season. I want no part of Fordham here.
All right, extra board, Ray Pye. Matt, I'm going to go to you here just because I know you at least have a slight take. Incarnate Word at Houston Baptist.
Yeah.
You know, Incarnate Word very short-handed right now.
Yeah, I think the early money reflects some of the injuries last game. I'm blanking on names of key players there, but basically down to
Keaston Willis
is their go-to catalyst on offense. They've also had some guys in and out of the lineup late, and there's some major three-point shooting regression, monster attack lurking here. If you look at I think they're top 20 in both offensive three-point percentage and defensive three-point percentage. Not sustainable. I think Houston Baptist has some serious value tonight.
All right, a couple
serious
people asking.
Value.
John Castro multiple times asking Providence at St. John's. St. John's it opened -1, bet up a little bit. Posh Alexander, I think, is questionable for this game. That's huge.
Yeah,
I got nothing here, guys. Kai, anything for you out here in the Big East?
Jim, I don't know. I mean, Providence was a team I always thought would get back into the swing of things and kind of get back in the hunt, and they just haven't done that. St. John's still kind of fighting for a spot in the tournament. It's two teams that are just such in the gray area of basketball that I've almost kind of put them out of my mind at the moment. Nothing.
Fair enough. All right, let's go to a couple from Randall Wallace, and then we will save the rest for the end of the show. And folks, Tulane, Wichita State will be touched on later, so not going to hit that one in the chat. Randall Wallace asking Oregon State at Utah. Kai, Mountain West here, Oregon State, maybe in a tough schedule spot going to altitude. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is a tough spot. In fact, I'm going to lock in Utah here, -4. I think
I'm joining you.
Yeah. Third straight road game for Oregon State. They did beat Utah by 18 in the first game. Johnsonen, I pronounced that wrong, was out for Utah in that game. And the Utes aren't good on the road.
He was playing with the Finnish national team, so yeah. he was overseas.
Yeah, the Utes are just not good on the road, Jim. They had 20 turnovers. They shot terribly. They're a different team at home. You just saw that with a 10-point win over USC. I think it's a big bounce back here against the Beavers. Like I said, third straight road game for the Beavers after 2 straight wins. Utah -4 will be a play for me today.
Wait, Jim, sorry, you're going to make this. I was going to join. Look, I see it down to 3.5 now. I don't know.
It's not 3.5.
It's 4.
It's 4. Yep.
No, I'll stay away. Kai, you're on your island there. I'm sorry. Yeah, but all his points were spot on. Follow Kai. Don't be scared like me.
Rylan Jones probably out here. He re-injured his shoulder.
That's why I'm a little concerned about it.
But yeah. All right, the other one, Matt, in the SEC, Texas A&M hosting Mississippi State. A&M hasn't played in forever because of their own COVID problems. I don't know how you back them here, even though it's kind of a high number for Mississippi State as a road favorite.
I just think under feels way too right. I can see Buzz Williams just parking the bus, and Texas A&M's offense is anemic, to put it nicely.
All right, back to the outline we go. Kai, take it over.
All right, let's go back to the rundown. We're going to start with UCLA at Oregon. It was going to be Louisville, Virginia Tech. That game has been canceled, so we will go to the Pac-12 instead. UCLA, Oregon -4. The Ducks, guys, they're coming. We've been talking about it. Don't sleep on the Quackers. I don't think anybody is anymore. They're the best team in the Pac-12 for my money. Still fighting for the 1 seed in the Pac-12 tournament. And guess what? Guess who's in front of them right now? It's the Bruins, a half game up on the Ducks. Yeah. Matt, credit UCLA for hanging tough without Chris Smith. It truly has been an impressive job by Mick Cronin there. I think the Ducks get it done, though. 4 points feels a little too low. What do you think?
Can I get back on the bandwagon? I hopped off and was searching for a new bandwagon after the USC debacle, but then Stanford went on the road against a really stout defense, California by 11, and then Arizona last game by 11. So yeah, the Flying V Quackers are back. If you let me back on, I'd love to join you guys. This team's good. There's no real value here from a price perspective in this spot tonight. But akin to my Seton Hall take, you just bet Oregon from here on out. I think you probably win some money.
Yeah, that was my best bet the other night for Oregon. I'm not quite going to take them here, but I do think it's a matchup they can kind of excel in. UCLA doesn't have the trees that USC does inside, especially with Jalen Hill away from the team. So Oregon can score a little bit inside, and they just need that to manufacture points to open up the perimeter. Definitely an Oregon lean for me, but nothing official.
All right, moving on. Stanford at USC, staying in the Pac-12.
The tree.
USC minus 7.5 here. Guys, maybe showing their true colors a little bit. Lost 3 of 4. They were swept on the mountain road trip. Always a difficult road trip to do for any team, let alone USC. Stanford, though, Jim, lost 3 in a row. Oscar da Silva missing, obviously key. His injury doesn't sound good either. Stanford might have a small chance to get in if they win this game. I just can't see it happening, especially without Oscar da Silva.
Yeah, he matters a ton in this particular matchup. He's the big force inside that would stand up to the Mobley brothers. Without him, I'm concerned for the tree. And yeah, they've just been a little worse with Zaire Williams and Dejon Davis out there kind of messing up the flow. USC is off the 2 losses at altitude, the sweep against Utah and Colorado. I think they are angry here. Still an outside shot at getting a tie for the conference title because they get UCLA in the final game of the season. So I think they'll be very motivated, locked in. It's too high for me to back USC, but man, that would be the side if I was forced to take one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd make this USC minus 2.5, 3 if Da Silva's playing and fully effective, but obviously that's not the case. And I think he is as valuable as the current line indicates. Just that delta, 4 or 5 points, even more with how much size USC has up front, how important he is to their scoring attack on offense. So I can't touch it just because of the whole Da Silva thing. But if you somehow find out that he's going to play and is going to make a Bill Murray-esque return to the hardwood tonight, maybe it's worth hopping on the tree here.
Yeah, game 1 between these two teams, guys, was close. 6-point game. Wills and Williams were out for Stanford, but O'Connell and Dallaire kind of had the games of their lives here. I just cannot see Stanford scoring in the paint today. They need to score inside, and that's just what USC doesn't allow, especially without Da Silva. His injury, like I said, does not sound good. So I have to lean towards USC here, or it's stay away. All right, moving on. Last game on the rundown before we hit more chat mob questions and our best bets. Abilene Christian at Stephen F. Austin. Pick minus 1.5 in favor of SFA. First place is up in the air in the Southland. Basically a 4-way tie right now. Abilene blew the doors off SFA in the first game. And they're coming off a game in which they blew a 17-point lead to Central Arkansas. Maybe the most bizarre result in all of the mid-major games besides that Milwaukee game yesterday. Matt, any lean here? This is basically SFA's Super Bowl championship opportunity, being ineligible for the postseason. What do you like in this game?
So I look at the schedule, and I'm not real excited about it from Stephen F. Austin's perspective. They played Saturday and Monday, and it's a team where we think that they're really deep, but you look at the rotations, they're actually not all that deep. I know they've had a few minor injury issues here. I just don't think you get a super angry and fully effective firing all cylinders Jacks team tonight, especially since they already have their top 4 spot in the tournament locked up.
They're not playing in the tournament, Matthew.
Oh, that's right. They're not playing. God, it's so annoying. Anyway, but so put that angle aside. Just I think the rest and potential fatigue could be a factor tonight, Jim.
Yes, that's the big thing. They played Saturday, Monday, Wednesday. Abilene did not have to play on Monday. That's huge. I'm not sure if what a name here, Clay Gaiman is playing for Abilene Christian. He's been kind of a key piece.
Kind of awesome. Court. Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he's legit, but he's been out. So without him, I'm a little concerned. But I think the spot sets up better for Abilene. I'm just gonna stay away, to be honest. So I'm riding with my Joe's boys. That's it today.
Yeah, turnovers galore here, man. SFA had 23 turnovers in the first game, couldn't score. ACU is one of the very few teams that can actually compete with them on the glass and guard Gavin Kinsmill, who's been just a dominant force for the Lumberjacks this season. I lean towards Abilene Christian as well. I like the revenge factor, but I have to lean towards the Wildcats. Gosh, I forgot their mascot for a second.
Wildcats.
Yeah, it's on the screen, baby.
I know. I'm brain fart here, Jim.
It's a really angry, fierce Wildcat, but yeah,
it is.
Wildcat.
I mean, what Wildcat's not fierce, Matt? You don't want to have like a normal looking Wildcat.
Like Davidson's a little softy, kind of like a kitty. Yeah.
Kitty. Davidson kitties. All right, best bets. Here we go. Let's start with Jim. A little reminder, refresher of his best bet today.
Yeah, best bet is St. Joe's -2. It did take off. Apparently, I've seen Chat Mob say it's a 3.5, 4 now. I probably wouldn't emphatically take anything past 3. I will leave that call up to you guys. I like them a lot, but it just laying that is tougher. Once you get over 3, it's a key number. It could be a close game. LaSalle. It's a rivalry game, Big 5 rivalry game. So, yep, just that one for me today. Matt, what about you?
Of course, in the last 20 minutes, I'm seeing my best bet get some steam action, but I went with the steam after the steam came in yesterday with Milwaukee in a similar situation. I'm doing the exact same thing here today. SIUE Edwardsville, not SIUE Edwardsville, Matt, that's redundant. They're taking on the Big Bat Belmont Bruins, who return Nick Muszynski today, who is arguably the most valuable player in that conference. He's a wrecking ball up front, but in this spot, big old massive spread up to 19.5, 20. I think Moose is going to be on a minutes restriction. He should be rested if Belmont's up big-ish late in this game. The dynamic you saw with Milwaukee make that late surge against Wright State, I think that's going to be in play tonight with SIUE. No, I don't think they're going to win the game outright, but these large dogs in conference tournament settings seem to have some fight at the end of the game, and I think we're getting a similar type situation with a team that plays hard as heck in SIUE, Ky.
We talked about big dogs in conference settings. I'm a little scared about Belmont just because it's Belmont, but I think you're right. Muszynski maybe doesn't play as many minutes as he normally would. Refresher, earlier I took Utah -4, but my best bet, guys, is another -4 team, Wichita State. Shockers are coming off a layoff about 2 weeks. They have a 5-game winning streak still. They just beat Houston, and they're in first place in the American. They obviously are desperate to hold on to that seed line, avoid Houston in the tournament if they can. The spread's just too low. Frankly, I would call it disrespectful if they weren't coming out of a mini pause here. Tulane's been better, but they've been blown out twice in a row by Memphis and Cincinnati. It's still Tulane. They are better at home. It's technically senior night. They have no seniors, so that probably shouldn't matter a whole lot. And Wichita in their first game was up 21 against Tulane before Tulane kind of made a furious comeback. You're not forcing turnovers against the Shockers, and that's bad news if you're playing Wichita. Wichita -4 will be my best bet today.
Fond memory of that first Wichita Tulane game. Hey, Ky.
We're on that.
Yeah, they played 35 minutes. They played 35, not 40. Let's play 40 tonight, Shockers. Full 40.
Hey, they locked up the coach, Isaac Brown, so maybe there's a little emotional lift from that. I don't know. The team seemed absolutely amped about that. It was a cool video of them giving him that full-time job. So, yeah, good luck to the Shockers, Ky. I'm hoping you get the W.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, let's get back to the chat mob. There's a couple to recap over here. It's extra board, guys. A couple MEAC games getting asked about. This surprised me. Danny V. Lab asked about South Carolina State at NCAA. A&T in line for the regular season title right here, trying to lock up the 1 seed in the tournament. Matt, anything for you there? Don't worry, Ky, you get a MEAC question too.
No, I guess we've learned that South Carolina State isn't as bad as we thought. That's all I have to say here. So I'm inclined to think that maybe it's a good spot to play the favorite, but the Gamecocks are always more competitive than I think they will be. So I'll stay away.
Not the Gamecocks, Bulldogs.
Oh, Bulldogs, sorry.
God. Oh, boy.
Matthew. I always mess that up. That up.
They're more competent than we thought because they played competitively against Florida A&M. Ky, who is headed to NC Central today.
Yeah.
Florida A&M been taking a little bit of money here. Anything for you? Central had not been the same team this year because of all their COVID issues.
I'm not surprised taking money. They whooped NC Central twice at Florida A&M. It wasn't even close. Like, they were the better team. It's frustrating because we expected NC Central to be pretty good this season. They have some really good talent on that team. We love Moten as a coach. He's awesome. But Florida A&M crushed them twice, now 4-point dog. I'm leaning their way until NC Central proves otherwise.
Fair enough. Matt, in the ACC country, close to your Duke Blue Devils on Tobacco Road. NC State, though. Isaiah Lopez asked about NC State at Notre Dame. Two teams I'm having a hard time figuring out at this point in the year. What's the motivation? NC State without Devin Daniels, maybe not quite the same team.
Right.
I got nothing here, Matt. What do you have?
Yeah, in general, just these Power Six conference games late in the regular season. There's been a lot of randomness in these spots. I am just putting them on the no bet list, and I made this game too. It is too. This is the hardest of stayaways for me. Sorry to disappoint you, Isaac.
Also, ACC Ky, gotta keep it even between you two. I don't want you to think I'm playing favorites.
Thanks.
Paul Taylor, the Sailor, fantastic chat name. Boston College at Florida State. BC actually got a win last game, first time without Jim Christian on the sideline. No Winston Tabbs, he's transferring. No Rich Kelly, he's hurt and transferring. Yeah. But this is a massive spread. FSU minus 19, minus 20-ish. What do you got?
That Notre Dame game was your typical. Nothing makes sense. We somehow play better without our good players and without our coach in the first game. I think it snaps back here against a much better team in Florida State. Spread's massive. I don't feel good about laying points either with this magnitude against the Boston College team that does have ACC players still on its roster. I just don't feel as confident in Boston College as I would against a lesser team, we'll say. Florida State is an amazing team.
Yeah, Florida State off a loss too, so maybe there's some sort of Florida State first half here. I think could be a potential value play with them angry against a team that's just not in their class. A couple in the Mountain West. Zach Hostler, Matthew, asking about New Mexico at Colorado State. He specifically was curious about the under, but do you have any side or total take between these two?
No. Again, I think what Colorado State struggles to do is beat up on the bad teams at the rate that the other better teams in the Mountain West.
Hey, they covered twice against Air Force.
Yeah, I know it was a hard fought cover though. They didn't really bury them like I would have liked if I'm laying a big number here. So for that reason, I do actually kind of lean New Mexico. They've been sneaky feisty, clearly not waving the white flag like we thought they would after they threatened to do so a few weeks ago. I actually lean the Lobos in sort of a close your eyes bet.
Ky, another Mountain West one for you. Is this a close your eyes bet? San Diego State at UNLV. The running Rebs taking some steam. The team that beat San Diego State last season. I think for that reason, I'm kind of scared away from this one. My number wants me to take UNLV, but I'm saying no because I think San Diego State could be like, let's destroy this team and leave no doubt here.
Number leans UNLV. UNLV may be one of those strange teams that like really gets up for good competition and just doesn't care about playing worse teams. So they can keep. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept this close. Let's put it that way. But I don't feel comfortable betting them as a dog against San Diego State, a team who I still consider best team in the Mountain West.
Yeah, UNLV competed really well at Boise. Most recently, that was their most recent like competitive game. They lost by 2 in the second game, lost by 12 in the first leg, but it was about 10 basically the whole game. They hung around. So at home, we'll see. But yeah, San Diego State has just been smoking teams, making no qualms about their NCAA tournament resume. All right, 2 more, one for each of you. Matt, you're getting this one. Andrew Carr asking about the Big Sky. Idaho State at Eastern Washington. Do the Eagles keep rolling over their conference competition?
Idaho State taking some money, shockingly. But one of those larger dogs that we've seen just play a little more with some more spunk late in the year as the favorites kind of, shift their focus toward the conference tournament. So I can see why there's been some sharp money on Idaho State, but I am not in the market to bet against Eastern Washington right now. That team can put a 22-run on you in 4 minutes, and Idaho State can be a soft team defensively at times. So no, I'm not going to go with the sharps there.
All right, Ky, you get one from the extra board. The Patriot Tournament. I know Matt wrote up a little blurb for this, but I'm going to you. Boston U hosting Lehigh. Anything here with the this is a mask game. Both teams going to be wearing masks at Boston U.
Jim, we keep waiting for Boston U to kind of turn the corner and get back to playing like a Patriot League favorite this season. Hasn't happened. Either that or Holy Cross is just weirdly their bane for some reason. They just can't get over the hump there. Lehigh, I think, is not great this year. So it feels like a lot of points. I'm leaning Boston in a tournament setting.
I agree. I lean Boston. I also like the over.
Yeah, that's the way I would lean. Boston at least played well. They're 2 games set against Army to close the season, whereas Lehigh has not looked great. They battled with Lafayette, but yeah, lean towards Boston U. All right. That is it for today. We will be having plenty more tomorrow. Kyle, let you wrap it up.
Thanks for joining us once again. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central. Please remember to hit that like button before you go and subscribe to SBR Sports Picks. That's the YouTube channel you are watching right now. And, of course, go to sbrpicks.com/NCAAB for more college basketball content. We will see you tomorrow.